whoever decides to join me on this stream, I suppose. This is mostly just me expressing my feelings in a safe, appropriate place to do so. Anyways, finally got. Well, I can't. I won't even say I was really like upset, but I was definitely upset. Like, I had a friend, a very important spiritual friend, reach out to my DM, my kid's dad, and just try to facilitate like us being able to see him. My youngest son is 10. He wants to be able to see us. He said he's afraid to ask his dad for time with us or to say, "Hey, this isn't fair," because my DM does get grumpy and aggressive when he drives, and then fights happen between him and his karmic. And I understand that, though pride is not a reason to deny me my ability to see my son. And what sucks even more is like, yes, I'm upset with my DM and their dad for effectively being a coward. And he's not, he is and he's not. I don't know what they have on him or if it's just his self righteousness, but even the kids agree this is not like him. Like, we had agreed we would meet Monday or Sunday. We were amenable to time and place because, of course, he had to be somewhere warm and this and that. Him and his Virgo Mars. We used to always joke that he was the high maintenance one. Like, I'm a Capricorn. I'm pretty low maintenance on most things. That doesn't mean I have no maintenance. I like the simple things, you know? Though either way, it was all good until this morning when he sent my son a message saying, well, I think we should go to court first, me and him. Like, he's not even having conversations with me. And part of that is him. I did out everybody's shadows. Aired dirty laundry, as he called it, after they spent months and months disparaging my character, saying that I was stalking them and doing all sorts of stuff, and then telling him I was denying him the chance to see the kids, when in fact I was simply saying supervised visits because he got heavily into drinking and drove drunk with them and did a lot of inappropriate things. And it sucks because, like, we all know that's not him. That's not dad. That's not my DM. That's not his default. But he's letting himself be overridden by his family, who personally told me that they want to nail his balls to the wall, and the karmic that he's with. And what I don't understand is the things that he is doing are illegal. Like, the court is likely to hold him in contempt. There's nothing that I have done that's illegal or harmful to the kids. The only thing that sucks right now is that I'm in a hotel. So even if I wanted to do a lot about it, even if even I could probably have the courts make them give him back. But our youngest wants to spend time with him. He just also, would like to see us too. It's a pretty common thing for a kid to want. And then at that point, he's in this situation with us. I don't want to put him in that situation. It was already hard enough to have, to basically be kicked into this situation by my family. And I want them both to have time with their dad. Even my oldest, who has been treated like crap by his dad, my DM, all just for him to stay loyal to people that have been openly disrespectful to us, because as they feel we've been disrespectful to her. Which is like, if it's wrong for us and we actually have been disrespectful, or as opposed to standing up for ourselves, then it's certainly not acceptable that it was done to us. But there's no accountability there. It's all how she feels, how his family feels, and it's been that way for a while. That's why I called for separation, because it was already like that. And now, as I talk to people, like, I have a lot of rights, and in this state, unfortunately, fathers have much fewer rights. So even if he could get some stuff on it, it's very likely he's going to get screwed. Everything I'm looking at looks like thousands of dollars in fines and possible jail time. I don't want that for him. And what sucks is I have no control once it goes there. And for the most part, almost every time he's talked about court, he does not take it there. And like, everybody who gets on my end who wants to help me says, well, you got to win, and you've got this, and you've got that, and like, you'll be fine. You just got to win, and they'll basically nail his balls to the wall. And it's like, that's not what I want either. I don't want to win or lose. I want my kids to be able to have time with both of their parents without other people butting into it. They don't have a say. They don't get a legal say. Yeah, when they're at your house, you're married to my DM, that's fine. You have certain rules there, but you do not get a say in terms of us being able to work things out as how we parent the child. Blended families are a mixture for this reason. And what sucks is like, it's not even because it's what my DM wants, and I'm sitting here going, I know what his family and what his person have told me and that they're going for, and do you think they're going to give two shits if he ends up paying dearly for what they told him to do? No, probably not. They will probably laugh. And that's what really, really sucks. And like, I don't want that to happen for him. Like, if I knew that if these were his choices and he was just like this, yeah. Like, I'm not even saying I would be that aggressive on anything. I'm not like that. I don't see that there's any necessity for any of this stuff. It hurts the kids. It wastes time. It's nonsense. It's pirate nonsense. And like, you would think if nothing else, they'd at least be able to eat the dishes they serve out to other people and be mature about it. But no, instead it's going to be on my maturity and this and that. And they're going to attempt to make a big case out of it when it should be simple. I am the boy's mother. He is the boy's father. That's it. But from everything I'm looking at, like, he's not going to have an easy time in the court. Certainly not with what's going on. And what sucks is like, yeah, I'm upset that he's doing this. I'm upset that he's not thinking about the future of how this looks for him or our kids, but what can I do about it? Like, I called him, made another report to the police. It doesn't really do a whole heck of a lot of good because they only count if they're physically abusing him or neglecting him, but it puts it on record. And that's the best thing that I can do is make records of things. But I've already got a lengthy record of inappropriate behavior, and not because he wanted to do that, but because he was being threatened and emotionally terrorized at where he was at. Like, I don't know. I feel like yes, he's an adult. He'll deserve what he surrenders to, and if he decides to be loyal to people that don't give a crap about what happens to him or our boys, people are happy to use our children to try to be pawns to, I don't know, like punish me or do something like that. Like, it's going to be him in the end that bites the dust on it, and I've already watched him go through that with his daughter. And I don't want to see that happen again, but the way that they're forcing the hand, and because he's leaning into it for whatever reason, I don't know if it's just misplaced loyalty, codependence, threats, being absolutely exhausted and confused. But you don't know somebody for 20 years and not know whether or not they're of sound mind. I mean, I went to therapy with this man. We went to doctors with this man, and if someone, he's supposed to be taking his meds. He's supposed to be going to therapy, and the gal that he's with has got borderline as far as I'm aware. It's unmanaged. She's got domestic violence records and shit and drug records. It's not good, but I know him, and he's more afraid of being alone than anything else. And it's like, look at this. Like, these people are happy to push you to do things that are going to hurt you in the end and the boys. Like, what happens if he ends up going to jail? What happens if he ends up having to pay such an incredible fine that it, like, not only does he lose the house he's already looking at losing because the karmic has spent up all the money and refuses to put anything into anything actually stable, but then what if he can't get more? Like, I met him when he was homeless because his first wife did exactly this kind of shit to him with his family's help. And I don't know. I'm not at a point where I'm like tired of it and I want to give up on him. They tried to force my hand to do it. They tried to force me into icing him out and, as they said, nailing his balls to the wall, and I didn't want to do it. I said, no, that's not right. I don't want to win. This isn't a win-lose thing. Whenever you focus on win versus losing, everybody loses. What I focus on typically is gratitude and truth and faith and logic. Unfortunately, it might have to get a little bit darker before it gets better in terms of, like, I mean, if he wants to force the court route, or not him, but if they want to force that, we'll have to go through it. I mean, I've got some leads on apartments and various different things that I can get for us in terms of stability, but, like, I mean, once I've got my own place, there's nothing that I've done wrong. I mean, I got a therapist that can attest to my sanity. I'm eccentric, yes. I do have emotions, yes, but like I'm sane. I'm saner than a lot of people. In fact, my therapist says that's often why I have a hard time in the rest of the world because I'm very sane. And I've got enough character witnesses that I'm not overly worried at this point about any sort of hearsay nonsense. I got evidence for things, journals about things, and it's just what sucks is like it's very 3D. You know what I mean? Like even if we remove twin flamey stuff out of it, like I know him. I know his proclivities for getting into things. We talked about this even in counseling before I called for separation because my fear was he would end up in exactly the situation that he's in and that my hand would be forced. And I don't know if Spirit intends to clear this up before then, because I know he doesn't deserve this, or if it will take it that far. I mean, a lot of it depends on free will. Spirit can't force a whole lot of things. Divine interventions are only so many different things, and you can still choose to do what you do. Like, if he chooses to fall on their swords, I mean, even if he doesn't, even if he says, "Well, my sister told me to," or my karmic told me to, or whatever thing like that, they're gonna say, "But you are the adult. You are the one who had the decision to make." Whether they were emotional or not, like we've talked about this in therapy too, like whether they're emotional or not, you are the one who is on the hook. You are the parent. You are the one that is engaged in the legal stuff, and that just makes my feels feely, squishy. But of course, like, I know that they've got him wound up, and I don't know how much of my actual words he gets to see or not. And he may actually be under some delusion that he's with people that want the best for him or something. And so I might be seen as the enemy to him right now, or the karmic or whatever thing, and I can't control that either. I don't want to control anything. I wanted to be done with the pointless drama a long time ago. I've got like enough conversations in Facebook and text where I wanted to talk about the kids and co-parenting, and he turned it into emotional stuff, which I wasn't unhappy about, but it's like I just want an easy co-parenting agreement. Nobody else gets a say in that. Nobody else, like, legally gets to determine that. And if you have somebody who is getting unstable on your end or they want to push something, have them go to therapy. That's what we went to therapy for. That's what therapy is there for you to help deal with your emotions rather than trying to control everybody and control things, and rather than trying to create instability. Heck, that's why even in telling my truth, I told it on my page. I talked about it on my Facebook, on my YouTube, on my social media. I don't know. I just, at this moment, I guess I'm asking for benevolent prayers for my son Joey, most of all, and my son Eamon, who's here with me, because they're getting hurt the most in all of this, and also for my DM. I know it seems like, for a lot of people, it seems like a backwards thing to do, but for one thing, they regressed him a lot. He's not exactly an adult in this situation, even if on the outside he presents that temporarily to people. Like, no mature adult would be making decisions in this way. And what sucks too is, like, if it gets to the point to where I am stable and in our own place where we're on a lease and stuff like that, and I can provide a place for our youngest, the courts may very simply decide to give him entirely to me. And once that happens, I know that my DM is much more likely to go back and sulk and blame me or blame the courts or blame the kids, and then be left in the situation that karmic family and karmic person that put him in. And there's like no way to reach him. I know that he knows it to a certain degree. I don't know. I'm just praying for him. I don't know that it's courage that he necessarily needs, but it might be. I feel like he knows what's going on. I mean, even just with this last thing, like, he was ready for us to go and meet with Joey. There's no reason for us to be. He's even admitted multiple times in the past, in front of the kids, in front of others, in text, that it's not us that's creating these delays or getting in the way of things. Like, he's very conflict avoidant. He would much rather have a, like, stellar record of doing everything correctly. I mean, Virgo Mars in there, like he likes to do it right. He likes to have his clothes folded a certain way. He likes to have things certain level of tidiness, and he doesn't even get that where he's at. He's like pretty much not allowed to like think for himself or do anything for himself. And I don't know. I don't know what the overall like spirit's plan in it is, or how much of it is the free will versus things that like intentions that were set a while ago. I don't know if this is like, I don't know. I don't know what all it is, but my heart goes out to my whole family. They're, my kids and their dad and me. Like, it's going to suck if we get into a place and they still have not filed for court and have not moved for any of that stuff, because that's when I'm going to do it. And because at that point, I got to put the kids first all the way. And I don't get control over what the courts say or do. I can only control over myself. Anyways, somebody's having a fun time out here, so I'm going to get off of here. But in any case, thanks for your prayers, I guess. It's a sticky 3D situation, but I know that there's stuff going on in the 5D and stuff that, what are you saying? It's somewhat same situation with your brother. Of course, trying to take his rights away. Yeah, see, well, and I know they're going to try to flip some sort of stuff like that on me, too, because I aired all their dirty secrets online, but in any case, I know that it's likely to end up backfiring, and it just, what gets me is he's had this experience before. It should almost be like deja vu, except for he's seeing me as being like his first wife, which I'm not. I do not want to nail him to anything. I do not want to I want the drama to stop. I wanted it to stop in the first place. I did what I could to hold my tongue for as long as I could about all the nonsense. I got away from the people that were pushing me to also be unkind to him and to use the kids as some sort of tools. And it's his turn. He's got to do it. He's got to do it for himself and for our kids. And what sucks is I do see him trying, but I don't know what they've got on him that either emotionally or financially or physically. Like, I know there's stuff, but I don't know what it would be, because he is normally such a courageous person. And everyone I talk to says he's being a coward, and it's like, yes and no. Like, put yourself in that sort of an abusive entanglement where you've got not just your person, but their kids and their family and your own family and stuff. Like, that's part of why I'm in a hotel right now, because I left my abusive family. Like, I get it. I do get it. I don't know. Yeah. And sometimes all you can do is pray. Pray for goodness, pray for kindness, pray for clarity, pray for goodness, benevolence for everyone. I don't even pray bad for the karmics. For one thing, my elders taught me, you always pray good for everyone, especially anyone you might consider a frenemy or a foe or enemy or anything like that. You pray well for everybody, especially because anybody who's intending on like hurting you or doing so through trying to protect themselves and whatnot, like they need it more. They need it even more. So I pray benevolence to everybody, and to you as well with your brother and everything like that. I've got some brothers who aren't in great situations either. I pray for them too. I pray for everybody. Anyways, good luck to you. And I know you're coming up on your own end. And thank you for prayers and donations towards me and my son. They've been helping a lot. And even just your consciousness is powerful. So thinking upward, 1919 on there, look, 2 sun cards, right? Clarity, abundance, inner child, wholesomeness. I'm excited because I know we're in a precarious situation right now, but this ain't the first time that I've hit rock bottom and pulled myself up by my bootstraps, and this time I'm actually getting support from several communities I've invested my time into that I really wasn't sure if it would be there or not. I was holding faith, but I was acknowledging some of the doubts and things in there too, but I've got a lot of help, and I'm appreciative of it, and I know that that means that all will turn out well. It's just what happens in the meantime, and I don't know, it's like with the kids, I know that we can work on it, we can heal it. It's only really a short amount of time in their overall lives, but my DM's already been through so much crap. Even my crap, for that matter. He's already been through so much, and like I've held back on a lot of this because I don't want him to get screwed more for shit that wasn't even really his choices or his wants. Like I have lists of conversations about what he actually wants and what I actually want, and attempting to go towards it. And every time there's some emergency on the karmic's end, or some crazy reason that we can't, or she's feeling insecure, it's like, for fuck's sake, go to therapy. That's what I did. That's what he did. That's what it's there for. I don't know. I send benevolent prayers to her also, because I can only imagine living in that mind space. And I don't even want to imagine it, but I know plenty of people with borderline and bipolar and other stuff that they are, when they manage it, when they do the work with it, that they are fine. And a lot of times they're extra spiritual too. So, like, I don't have prejudices against it, though it upsets me because, like, I'm neurodivergent. I'm ADHD and I'm a little bit of autism too. Though I work on managing my stuff, I'm still actively seeking, like, a mental health therapist who specifically either has ADHD or has successfully worked with others, because I'm seeing a therapist right now and he's great for a lot of things, though he does not have, he's never been in that experience, so he lacks a certain amount of empathy to really understand how it affects the neurological system. And like, but I'm always working on it. In fact, I just connected with a friend who's a naturopath that also sent me some more resources on it. Like, every day I work on that stuff. That's part of why I can be so grounded and still have a lot of inner peace and centeredness, even amongst all the chaos. And that, like, I would like for the karmic people and people that are unstable and that sort of stuff, especially if they're anybody that I told truths about, to be able to feel that. Like, it feels amazing to not feel unstable by other people's behavior, and also to be able to feel my emotions about it. Like, a lot of times we get emotionally constipated and then we don't feel things, or people are constantly worried about being seen as weak or things like that. But the real weakness is when you only got a couple of emotions and everything that you do is about power or survival mode or being the king or queen of the gossip machine. Like, that's a really hard, heavy world to live in. Those are really low vibes to live in, and I unfortunately know far too many people who live in them, and they end up sabotaging their own shit too. Like, I don't know. I pray for everybody. I'm gonna get off of here though. My oldest son, we got a little, it's not a, well, I got a single burner for us to use to cook stuff on, but that was not feasible, especially if he is cooking, so I got kind of a single unit skillet thing, and it's worked out really well, and it's helping him to, like, shift some energy, because he's kind of got to be here a fair amount so that his emotional support bird does not freak out, because he likes him to be around at all times. And we're still working out that stuff, but I'm really excited because he wanted to do burgers tonight. And it's nice, especially after having hard news, and basically, I don't know whether it was his dad or DM that was being a dick to him, or if it was his karmic that was again texting from his phone. There's, like, no empathy in the conversation at all, so it's hard to say, but it's hard on our son. And he doesn't deserve to go through that anymore. And he was already going to be done with the conversation when I tried having a friend reach out to him, and his dad said, you know, give me a time and a date. We did, and it went well until suddenly he changed his mind. And we all know that's not my DM. That's not his dad. That's not the way that he does things. But now it's shutdown mode, and that affects both of the kids, because none of this has to do with what's best for the kids. And I don't know. I'm going to keep centering myself back on the little things. My son getting to cook, and him being able to have his emotional support bird, which my parents may or may not take me to small claims court over, but we're both happy because at least the bird is safe, and my son has that connection. We're trying to work on getting him back to school now that my car is working a little bit better. I got to do a few more things on it, but I don't know. So many things. Thank you for your prayers. I send you all my prayers too.